brothers and sisters, you can still stand tall. Just
everybody. It's Thanksgiving week. You guys are now tuned in to the Donovan Sadiq Show. I am your host, Donovan Sadiq, and it is November 23rd, 2020. It is approximately 1900 hours for you civilians. That is 7 o'clock p.m. Just give me a couple of seconds. Going to be going through this thing. So we're going to do this also on the chat. We're going to do this live. So give me a couple of seconds to set that up. A lot of stuff going on in the news. Just wanted to bring you guys up to date. Just give me like 5 minutes as I set this thing up. Got to put my green screen on and do all that. But it is crazy times. And, I just sit here and I just shake my head. All right, we are live. There we go. Hey, you guys, my name is Donovan Sadiq again. Welcome to the Donovan Sadiq Show. You guys see my new logo running up behind me. For those of you guys who are on the podcast, you can't see it, but just go to my YouTube channel or my Facebook channel. You'll be able to see it there, but mostly YouTube. And before we get started, let's do a little cleanup here. I just got off the war zone with the 5-star General Jerry Wayne Monroe and my partner in crime, Demetra Kay. We were talking some serious stuff over there, and you guys, sometimes, guess what? I am on the Love in the Zone with Paradise, the model, where we talk about all kinds of stuff. Can't believe it. The show is growing. I am more happy how things are going. And if you guys want to, please help support the channel and go ahead and donate. Cash App, Donovan Sadiq, $1, $2, $3, all that. It all adds up. So if you guys have time and want to do that, you are more than welcome to do just that. Okay, the topic for today is, do rich people believe in democracy? As you've been watching with this Donald Trump stuff, as by the way, today Michigan certified that he is out of there. There's no more path to the presidency, so it looks like he is going to be conceding. He hasn't officially said it yet, but with all the stuff that's going on, okay, they keep telling us how important democracy is. Remember those high school days where they were saying, oh yeah, democracy, and we got to, we're the beacon of hope and all this other stuff. But yet the democracy was threatened, and not one Republican senator or Democratic senator, much less Congress, said much about the whole situation. Did anybody notice that, or was that just me? But then, when it's evident he has no path to the presidency, it's evident that he's not going to make it. Now, a few of them want to come out and, but don't use my name. Don't use my name. But yeah, he lost, and I just have to do this, to show support. What is more important than this so-called democracy that they keep telling us is this bastion of hope and praise? Do rich people actually believe in democracy? I mean, they've already legalized bribery by saying corporations are people. So if I formed a corporation, I now have 2 votes, myself and my corporation. How many of you guys saw any Democrats actually speaking out and demanding that he concede the election? I didn't see one of them. I didn't see one. Why isn't this bothering anybody? Very, very at what is going on. So here's what I mean about the democracy and why I don't think rich people actually believe in democracy. It is something for the lower level people like myself. I don't believe they believe in democracy for the simple fact that they just don't. Now, here in Moreno Valley, where I live, Moreno Valley, California, a lot of candidates that lost their election are now blaming me. I'm the reason they lost. The Democratic Party of Moreno Valley is mad at me because I did not support the candidates that they chose to represent the people. But what I do understand about the Democratic Party of Moreno Valley is the fact that they don't give a damn about the people. So why would I even care about who they support? Because they don't support the people. These parties are in this together. They don't care. It is damn near impossible to be elected at the local level without these party bosses dictating if you're going to do it. If you ever get elected at a local level without help from either of these parties, that's a fluke. That is a fluke, but it also shows that your city is very, very progressive. With what's going on now, Joe Biden is now in office. He's got the presidency. I hear all these Negroes out here talking about, well, now we're going to make them accountable. And some of the very people that were telling you guys, vote blue no matter who, and we got to get Trump out of office. Okay, Trump is now gone. Basically, he's gone. January 20th, he is gone. Now you see some of these very people now asking the Biden administration for something. That isn't how it works. That's what we were telling you. That is not how it works. Your leverage is before you vote them into office. LGBTQ, DACA, Dreamers, two of these three groups aren't even citizens. They can't even vote. But the Democratic Party told you what they're going to do on day one for people that didn't even do anything for them. And all these black bootlit Negroes are now talking about, well, you know, what do we get? That's what we were trying to tell you. So now they see the writing on the wall as Joe Biden is now filling his cabinet with corporate lobbyists and corporate interests. So what do you expect to get out of that? People are saying, well, you know, it's the Obama years. He's bringing back all these Obama people. Why are these 70-year-old people, baby boomers, still trying to be in government? Retire, for Christ's sakes. Retire. You guys are the problem. I antiquate baby boomers. Here's my thing, and I know a lot of people are not going to agree with this. A lot of people are not going to agree. And I don't care if you agree or not. It doesn't really matter. You know, it just doesn't. You know, it doesn't matter to me. I don't care what you have to say. Here's what I antiquate the baby boomers with. I antiquate them with a boxer. And you're saying, well, what do you mean, you know, a boxer? What is the correlation? The correlation, hold on here. Corporate, I'm trying to look something up because I want to show you guys this. It's very important. Corporate offices, how about that? Biden and corporate cabinet positions. How about that? Okay, what happens to a boxer when you know, they fight past their prime? Anybody think about Muhammad Ali when he fought past his prime? You know, he should have hung him up and, you know, walked away. Evander Holyfield should have hung him up, walked away. Sugar Ray Leonard, same thing. I'm talking recent people, you know. They just kept fighting until it was like an event. Mike Tyson fought until it was, you know, it was just, he was getting knocked out by bums of the week, you know. That's how I antiquate baby boomers with people like of that ilk, okay? So I'm going to share with you guys real quick, if you guys are watching on the video chat, this thing here. Biden picks Blinken, Mayorkas, Sullivan for key cabinet positions. Okay? President-elect Joe Biden on Monday announced a number of key cabinet appointments, including Antony Blinken as Secretary of State, Alejandro Mayorkas as Secretary of Homeland Security. Wow, a Hispanic. Okay, that's historic. He's the first. Isn't it historic? He's the first. So what? So what? As Secretary of Homeland Security, and Avril Haines to serve as the first woman to lead the intelligence community, among other positions. Well, isn't there a lady in the CIA that leads right now? But that's just me talking. Biden on Monday also announced former Secretary of State, once again, these people keep coming back, John Kerry as Special President Envoy for Climate and will sit on the National Security Council. Same people. When he was Secretary of State, he sat on the Security Council. The first team that the NSC will include an official dedicated to climate change. Kerry's position is not a cabinet post. But, might as well be. He's getting paid by tax dollars, right? Biden also announced that Jake Sullivan will serve as White House National Security Advisor, making him one of the youngest people to serve in the role in decades. And Linda Thomas Greenfield, who will be nominated as United Nations Ambassador, will be a cabinet position in the Biden administration. We have no time to lose when it comes to our national security and foreign policy. I need a team ready on day one to help me reclaim America's seat at the head of the table, rally the world to meet the biggest challenges we face, and advance our security, prosperity, and values. This is the crux of that team, Biden said in a statement. These individuals are equally as experienced and crisis-tested as they are innovative and imaginative. And of course, Kamala got on her knees and sucked his dick and said she also praised the appointments, calling them crisis-tested national security and foreign policy leaders. Yeah, right. This is what happens to these baby boomers. They don't know when to quit. These people are in their 70s. I'm the son of baby boomers. I'm the son of baby boomers. And my generation isn't even in leadership. And the ones that are have sold out. So let me read you guys this from Politico real quick. Now, if you can see the video, look at some of these faces. Some of these faces are either they've lost their seats or they're bringing them in. And Biden is bringing in his Republican buddies as well. Susan Rice, the neocon that has slavery going on in Libya. You want to bring her in? The idiot that lost his seat, the senator that lost his seat in Alabama, you're going to give him a job? Pete Buttigieg, whatever. Him too? All these people that bow down? This is what we've come to? It's just sad. It's just sad. And I want to show you guys this right here. I don't know what these people are expecting. Let's call it Black activists want Biden to give them something. Okay, let's just call it that. Here it is. Here it is right here. And this is from the Hill. It was written 5 days ago. Biden must look to executive action to fulfill vow to Black Americans. He didn't promise Negroes anything. What are they talking about? President-elect Joe Biden vowed in a public address the night he was projected as the nation's next president to have Black Americans back. What does that mean? You stood by me, I'm going to stand by you. That's what he's going to do. Just stand there. Thanking them for overwhelmingly voting for him instead of President Trump. While exit polls show Trump won a higher percentage of the Black vote in 2020 than in 2016, by sheer numbers, no racial voting bloc supported the former vice president more staunchly. And of course, 83%, they say, of the Black vote went to the Democratic Party, as it usually does. But yet, we still get blamed when they don't win. We're the only group that votes like that. But we get the blame when the win doesn't happen. As such, it makes sense that Biden will attempt to make good on his November 7th promise during his first 100 days in office. What did he promise us? But to do so, Biden may be forced to rely on executive orders given the legislative hurdles he's likely to face. Now, ask yourself this. If the Democrats take the Senate in January, what excuse would he have not to pass black legislation? You have the House, you have the Senate, you have the presidency. So these executive orders wouldn't matter. But I want you guys to remember that because I'm talking about it right now. At best, Democrats will win a Senate majority in a 50-50 split, allowing Vice President-elect Kamala Harris to be the tie-breaking vote. But that's only if the party is able to unseat Georgia's 2 Republican senators in a runoff election. Executive orders are effectively unilateral policy decisions, but they do have limits, with the general rule being that they can only build on or further enforce legislation that Congress has passed while falling within the scope of the presidential powers outlined in the Constitution. Okay. So let me break that down for you guys. And can you stop sharing this? Basically, what they're saying here is this. If Congress says something and the president doesn't agree with it, he can write an enhancement order to push it through or go with it. Okay, let's say the Congress mandated, you got to be 35 years old to take this. The president can, by executive order, lower that to, let's say, something else or whatever. But he has some discretionary room to move. But here's what I have to say about that. Why would Biden need to do that if he has control of, unilaterally the Congress and the presidency? He wouldn't have to do that. Okay, he wouldn't have to write executive orders. But if the Democrats do take control of the Senate, they have Congress. So all you Negroes listening to me right now, if that does happen in January, let's see if Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer put reparations to a vote. Let's see if they do that. They have the votes now. Maybe they won't do it because it'll show how many Democrats are against the black agenda. Have you guys ever thought about it? I just want you to think about it. Have you guys ever thought that is why ever since Nancy Pelosi became Speaker of the House, even before, when she lost it initially, she's never put the reparations bill on the floor for vote, even if it was symbolic. And black people love symbolism. Why won't she do that? Let's put it to a vote and send it up to the House. The Republicans voted to repeal Obamacare 70-something times. 70 times they tried in the House to repeal it. They put it to the vote. Yeah, it didn't make it, but they put it on the floor. What's Nancy Pelosi's excuse for not putting reparations on the floor? Maybe it's because she don't like niggas. Maybe it's because being Italian, she's as racist as her Republican counterparts. What about that? So I want you Negroes to put that in the back of your mind. If the Democrats get the Senate, what will be their excuse for not running a black agenda? Other than the fact you didn't ask for shit. Okay? Other than the fact that you have now, they're going to have all that power. Obama had all that power for the first 2 years, and he did the everything thing. Fuck the everything thing. I want to know what your black agenda is. All these black bootlicks that are in the Congressional Black Caucus, let me ask you Negroes this. I know you guys are saying, well, why do you keep saying, Negro? I'm talking to my people first. Let me ask you Negroes this. What has the Congressional Black Caucus done for you since 1973 when they were first formed? What accomplishments have they done? I'll wait. Exactly. I can't think of anything. But they're the first to talk about the kids in the cages. Oh my God, we got to do something. Well, why aren't you doing something about the black kids in the cages on this side of the border? Why aren't you doing something about the crime bill? Is anybody trying to rewrite the crime bill that Joe Biden authored? I don't hear anybody talking about that. And it's just so funny. These black activists now are talking about, well, we expect something for our vote. What? Huh? What? You didn't ask for anything. You didn't ask for nothing. So he's not obligated to give you nothing, you dumb Negro. Damn, this is what we're trying to tell you. Time and time again, I get Negroes that send me messages and talk to me and try to convince me that, oh, you voted Green Party, you wasted your vote. I don't know. You voted Democrat and you're not getting shit either. So who wasted their vote? You voted expecting something. I didn't vote expecting anything. I voted to get this party that already had an agenda that I agreed with. Yeah, that's all I needed. Their agenda suited my needs. But a lot of you Negroes now have voted, and now you're seeing what your vote is going to get you. It's going to get you Joe Biden standing right next to you. But look at all these rich people out here. The country has been threatened with a soft coup. And what is a soft coup? It is a non-military coup, because the military is not going to get involved. Trust me, that isn't going to happen. You have too many veterans. That is not going to let that happen. Yeah, you have a lot of crazy MAGA people out there that were in the military, but there's not enough to be a threat, okay? So Donald Trump has tried to soft coup. It is evident that that's not going to happen. His path is very limited. As a matter of fact, today, that one dumb bitch in the GE or something, whatever her job is to do the transition, Trump has told her go ahead and do it, because I guess the business people went to Trump and say, as much as they would have liked Trump to have won, and they probably voted for him 2, 3, 4 times, they said it's over, it's done, we got to move on because you're hurting business, you're hurting the stock market. And that's what it comes down to, people. Let's talk about the money. If you guys have ever been on my show or seen me on any other shows, all Donovan talks about is the money. That's why reparations is so important. Reparations is the only way that is going to solve black people's problem in this country, and it is a debt that is owed. You can't go to your bank and say, yeah, hey, I know I owe you this money, but I'm going to study it before I pay you. You just can't do that. That's not going to happen. It's a debt. They're going to take you to court. They're going to make you pay it, or they're going to take all your shit. So reparations is a debt that is owed to black people. No, I'm not going to walk away and just say, well, I'm going to forget it. It'll never happen. Reparations happen here in California. It's signed into law here in the state of California, but yet people keep saying, oh, reparations will never happen. It happened. People said there will never be a black president. It happened. Even though Obama is the most outward-looking black president, because his actions show that he ain't black. But he looks black. He has black skin. How many of you guys know that the first actual black president in the modern day was Dwight Eisenhower, one of the greatest generals America has ever produced, other than MacArthur. I believe MacArthur was the greatest general we've ever produced in this country. But who was his lieutenant? Eisenhower. You say, well, that's bullshit. Eisenhower was no damn Negro. Go look at Eisenhower's mother and go look up her birth certificate. You will see on her birth certificate, she is listed as a mulatto. Now, I'm from Louisiana. I was born in Louisiana. I'm from California, but I was born in Louisiana. A mulatto is a woman of mixed race, black and white. So the rule in the United States is 1 drop of blood. So if Eisenhower's mother was a mulatto, if you look at pictures of her, she does look like a mulatto. That would make Eisenhower black. So there you have it. Oh, there was a lot of presidents that had black blood in them and all that other stuff and the mixing and Yeah. We're talking about the modern time, okay? We're talking about modern, okay? it's just amazing to me how many people just don't do their homework. They just don't do it. So anyway, do rich people believe in democracy? I don't believe they do. When this country was first formed, a lot of what they called at the time loyalists were not for going against England, because a lot of them were reaping great benefits here, and they were of the nobility, and they were the New World's nobility. So they weren't for rebelling against England. Look at the French Revolution. The rich people were so rich there, and the people were so poor that eventually the poor people rose up and murdered all the rich people. They don't believe in freedom. That's why it is so scary that what Donald Trump attempted to do, and not one senator of his own party stood up. Carl Bernstein put out a list of, I think, 20 Republican senators that talk shit behind the scenes, but in public, they didn't say a word. That is very troubling. You see democracy being threatened. These are elected leaders, servants. I got to stop saying leader. They are elected servants. You see the Constitution is being challenged, and they did nothing about it. And they are obligated by their oath to uphold the Constitution, and they did nothing about it. But yet, let this country be attacked under suspicious circumstances. They're sending our children, myself and others like myself, overseas to fight in the defense of the Constitution and the common good. But right here, with a crisis going on here in the United States, not one Republican, much less Democrat, servant stepped up and pointed all this shit out. You got MAGA people that still believe Donald Trump won, even though there's no evidence. No evidence. Every time he's gone into court over 30 times, no evidence has been produced. Zero. This country is so divided. Nobody is for the and the reason why this country is so divided, we have a team mentality. My team's better than your team. I want to be on the winning team, winners and losers, instead of being the common good. I am a recovering Democrat. I'm a recovering Democrat. I know you guys are saying, well, what does that mean? That a recovering Democrat is similar to a recovering alcoholic. And, a recovering alcoholic has a problem with alcohol. They can't be around it. It's really bad for them, things like that. Now, a recovering Democrat's the same way. Like, I was a Democrat for a long time because my parents were Democrats. And, the Democrats were supposed to be for the working man and all this other bullshit they keep telling us, right? I found out that the Democratic Party wasn't good for me. I mean, it was terrible for me. So in my recovery, I have to stay away from the Democrats. As much as I long to help and do, no, can't do it. It's really, really bad for me. I can't be a Democrat. I can't do it. I just found out that they don't care about me. They don't care about my people. All they care about, like I've said about both of these organizations, Democrat or Republican, there is no difference. They get their money from the same exact sources. And if I don't know if people have been paying attention, but if you really look, the Democratic Party that is supposed to be for the working man and the blue collar man, why is it that Nancy Pelosi keeps talking about, and people identify her as a corporate Democrat? That isn't the working man, the corporate Democrat, the corporate senators. That's not the working man. How did Donald Trump get all these MAGA people? And look at the majority of his MAGA people. They're all blue-collar rednecks. Donald Trump is a lifelong Democrat that ran as a populist. As a populist. crazy. It's just crazy, and we just keep falling for it over and over and over again. So I just want to bring this to you guys' attention. I don't believe that rich people believe in democracy. Democracy is for the poor and the so-called middle class and the people that aren't in their level of wealth. It's a dream. It is something that keeps you in check, and it regulates you to be where you're at, where they can control the masses without having to overtly do it. Basically, we'll patrol ourselves, basically. We believe in this system that really doesn't really work for us, especially if you're black-skinned in this country. The democracy does not work because the very people that look like us, that are our servants, that we send to represent us, don't even speak for us. They line their own pockets, and then they go. And that's what I was saying, the Democratic Party on the local level. You cannot get elected at the local level because of these two parties. If you're not in cahoots with these two parties, you're not getting elected. And if you do get elected, it's a fluke. It's a fluke. And hopefully you do well. But even if you are an independent and you get in there, just like they do in Congress, you have to congregate with one of the two major parties. The system has already been rigged. And then if you don't play ball with them, they run against you and they challenge their own. If you don't go by the Democratic or the Republican playbook, if you're in Congress, they will run you in the primary. And that's what a lot of these candidates are worried about. But do you know the average age of the Democratic leadership is 73 years old? 73 years old. Chuck Schumer, Nancy Pelosi, and Joe Biden. The average age between the three of them is 73 years old. And then if you talked about their lieutenants and all the other stuff, Steny Hoyer and Jim Crow, Joe Clyburn. Why are these people still in office? It doesn't make sense. But again, I attribute baby boomers to an over-the-hill boxer. They don't know when to quit. And then they take the L and they get into a fight that is so damaging to them they will never recover. Look at Muhammad Ali. Yeah, he had Parkinson's, I understand that. But that's what happens when you stay past your time. You become a running joke. And let's be honest, you guys. If you have a parent like I have parents that are baby boomers, you're not going to change them. I had a baby boomer talk about, oh my God, if Trump stays in there, he's going to cut my Social Security. Isn't that tragic? But you don't have a problem with him cutting my Social Security. You're just worried about your Social Security. Oh, prescription medicine. You're just worried about your prescription medicine. What about the common good for everybody else? You got people that lost their jobs at no fault of their own, but because you've been there for 30 years, it's okay that you got your job. You're not concerned about the people that they cut at the bottom. But we're supposed to be up and championing you, but you don't want to champion us. You're not going to change these people's minds. You're just not. Baby boomers, my parents' generation, to them, progress was to eat at the white man's restaurant and to eat the white man's food and to take a shit next to a white man. To them, that was progress. To them, getting a government job, you made it. That was progress to them. So you're not going to change their mind. And then they wonder why the grandkids are so far left while they stay to the right in the Democratic Party. And usually as you get older, you get more conservative. But you forgot Generation X, my generation, that bridges those two because you've been in there too fucking long. But I'm not supposed to say anything. Who am I? I don't know what I'm talking about. But hey, you guys, again, there's a new show that is out. I really want you guys to go check it out. It's called Love in the Zone with Paradise the Model. Funny thing is this lady is from Iberia, Louisiana, which is north of where I was born. I was born in a town called New Roads, Louisiana. Love it. I love the people down there. And love the food, of course. But it's a new show called Love in the Zone. and Paradise the Model. It talks about relationships. It talks about all these, things you can talk about. I sometimes guest on it and I contribute to it. And I'm telling you, she's a wonderful person. And I think that the show's going to do really, really well. Even though we're in the second phase, really we're in the third or fourth phase of this pandemic, it's going to get really ugly. Some countries, because of the revenue that they're losing, are opening up and they're letting tourism go in. Right now, we are, when all this shit's clear, I want to be ready to go on my trip back to Africa and stuff. So we're going to be taking a lot of people that are affiliated with our shows to go back out. People talk about like Christmas is coming up, PlayStation, getting kids the PlayStation and stuff like that. Why not just get your kid a book? Why would you be spending that kind of money when you know you have rent is due? The rent moratorium is going to be up in January. Why are you spending money you don't have? Are they sending you another stimulus check? Do you guys realize it's been almost 9 months since that little funky little fucked up $1,200 they gave you? How's that working out for you? Do you think the Democrats and the Republicans actually give a shit about you? Because if they did, they would have done what other countries are doing. It's our money. Who are they not to help us pay our bills when we did something that was no fault of our own? Already the Biden administration is talking about not pursuing prosecution of Donald Trump. I think that would be a mistake if they did that. But that's how they don't believe in democracy. Joe Biden, when you make statements like, well, it's not going to be up to me, but if it was up to me, I want to move forward. I want to move on. No matter what his crimes are, I'm going to move on. You're sending a message to anybody that wants to be your attorney general not to pursue. But you Negroes are going to fall for that. But what are you going to do if Donald Trump isn't going to... Well, he's being pursued by the state of New York. Really? Richard Nixon did crimes in the state of California when he broke into Ellsworth's office building. Did he face any crimes? Was he charged with any crimes at the state level? He could have been. No, he wasn't. They negotiated an overall pardon. Who was the governor during that time? I believe it was either it was Ronald Reagan or Jerry Brown's father. I think it was still Ronald Reagan. He was still governor. See how that worked? Pardon all the way down the way. But what would you do if Trump doesn't get prosecuted? But your black ass will. We've got a mass incarceration ticket going on. Are you guys going to hold them accountable to making and redoing the crime bill? Are you going to hold them accountable to stopping these fucking forever wars? What are you going to do? He's got the power now. Does he really need you? Do you know an incumbent usually gets elected 96% of the time? The incumbency, that's why it's so hard to get these mugs out of there. But what are you going to do about it? How do you hold him accountable when you can't even hold your own city council member accountable? That's what I want to know. You guys talk so much shit. No substance. There's no substance to it. So we got another 4 years, and we'll see how it goes. But I want you guys really to look at some shows and continue to listen to the new black media. They are still shooting us down in the streets. You haven't heard anything from Joe Biden or Kamala Harris about it. A young man was shot down, I think in Florida again, and killed. Ahmaud Arbery case, the DA in that case lost, so we're going to see how that pans out. They're still shooting us in the streets, and you niggers are out there, and I said niggers, are out there dancing in the street with the enemy. The difference between a nigger and a nigga, okay? Very, 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 very big difference. But we got to be smarter than this, people. Reparations is a debt that is owed, and it has to be paid. Now, We can sit on our ass and say, oh, no, I'm not going to do anything, and blah, 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 blah. But what if they do give us reparations? So all you Negroes that said that it would never happen, are you going to go collect your check? Or you're going to give that check up, right? Because it never happened. And people like myself and the New Black Media and other people that are out there advocating for this shit, you're just going to give it up because, you didn't fight for it. So, your integrity and your honor prevents you from collecting, right? But if our advocacy could get you a check, why are you fighting so damn hard to stop us from doing so? It's lunacy. Only in the black community. Only in the black community. When I see a 54-year-old black woman with blue hair, lunacy. It's crazy. The only thing that's going to solve black people's problem is money. Money that is owed to us. Give us our money, and we will do like the Asians, and we won't give a shit who gets elected, who doesn't get elected, because money talks in this country. You can't do nothing without money in this country. When are you Negroes going to understand that? You guys buy $300 goddamn dollars worth of Jordans, $400 worth of weave, $90 to $120 worth of nails, once or twice a month, whatever you do it. You can't do that shit if you ain't got no damn money. Good Lord. How many times do I got to say it? So anyway, you guys, don't forget to check out Unapologetic. That's another one of my podcasts. But you guys are listening to the Donovan Sadiq Show. And I just want you guys to really start thinking, because after this 4-year term is up, maybe a lot of you Negroes will learn. We'll learn from this experience. Oh, well, 4 more years of... Wasn't it the 4 years of Obama that brought and rose a person like Trump? Didn't that bring the racism straight out? 4 years of Obama? Isn't that when all the shooting of black people really started coming to the forefront? The racism came out? And you guys want to go back to 4 years of that? Didn't do nothing for black people? That didn't, think about what I just said. 4 years of nothing for black people in 8 years of Obama. And you want to go back to that. He didn't do nothing for you, and you want to go back to an administration that didn't do anything for you. Lunacy. I mean, this is some scary shit. I am scared. But yet, you guys are going to fight against your own people. There are many roads to a destination. You had a Malcolm, you had a Martin, and you had the Black Panthers, you had all these other groups, the Urban League and stuff like that. White folks' establishment had to pick one. Guess who they picked? All of those groups are trying to get to the same destination. So why the fuck are you fighting so damn hard against the other groups? You guys do you, and let us do us, and we'll see you at the destination. Think about that. You might not agree with me or all these other groups out here, but we're doing something. What are you doing? You're doing master's bidding by fighting us. We look just like you, and you fight harder than they do. I have a slew of Republican and MAGA friends that I grew up with and that are friends with me. Never has any of them, and I can say this, said anything that I said was wrong. We get in heated debates, but they never said I was wrong. Their thing is, good luck with that. You need votes to do that, Donovan. You need this to do that, Donovan. But they never said I was wrong. Because they know, as long as we're divided, nothing's ever going to happen. They're safe. And they know you're going to do the job for them. They don't have to say anything. So stop fighting your own kind, you dumbasses. The kids in the cages. What about the Negroes that are locked up right now and are still locked up from the 90s? Why aren't you crying for them? But you're going to get Uncle Joe to the White House. Dumb. See you next week on the podcast.
Diamond in the back.